गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनः शृण्वन् नोतिभिः सेदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् ॐ तच्छयोरावृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजं शं नो अस्तु द्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
गजानना 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 प्रथम पूजन गणराया प्रथम पूजन गणराया गजानना गजानना प्रथम प्रार्थना श्री गणराया प्रथम प्रार्थना श्री गणराया लंबोधरा गणराया लंबोधरा गणराया गजानना गजानना प्रथम पूजन गणराया गजानना गजानना प्रथम प्रार्थना श्री गणराया लंबोधरा गणराया लंबोधरा गणराया गजानना गजानना।
हर हर शंकर सांब सदा शिव ईशा महेशा हर हर शंकर सांब सदा शिव ईशा महेशा तांडव प्रियकर चंद्रकलाधर ईशा महेशा तांडव प्रियकर चंद्रकलाधर ईशा महेशा अम्बागुह लम्बोदर वन्दित ईशा महेशा अम्बागुह लम्बोदर वन्दित ईशा महेशा विन्ध्य हिमाचल शृङ्गनिवासित ईशा महेशा विन्ध्य हिमाचल शृङ्गनिवासित ईशा महेशा हर हर शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव ईशा महेशा ताण्डव प्रियकर चन्द्रकलाधर ईशा महेशा अम्बागुह लम्बोदर वन्दित ईशा महेशा विन्ध्य हिमाचल शृङ्गनिवासित ईशा महेशा विन्ध्य हिमाचल शृङ्गनिवासित ईशा महेशा हर हर शङ्कर साम्ब सदा शिव ईशा महेशा
Om Shri Sai Ram, offering my humble pranams at the reverential Swami's lotus feet. Sai Ram, and a very warm welcome to each one and all present live with us today for the 15th edition of the Shri SSSVV Family Satsangs. My name is Acharya, and I am part of the school relationship coordination team from the state of Karnataka. It gives me immense joy to be amidst all of you here today and take you along in this saga of re-challenging our minds and hearts through the various life lessons and experiences from the lens of our volunteers, mentors, and teachers. To kickstart today's theme, for this proceedings, I would now request the director of Shri Satyasai Vidyavahini, Shri Karuna Munshi ma'am, for setting the context. Over to you, ma'am.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Thank you, Akshay. I offer our collective and loving pranams at the lotus feet of our beloved Lord. Sai Ram, dear sisters and brothers. I would prefer to not use my video because internet is a little weak here. Thank you for joining this very important satsang. The whole tradition of our Vidyavahini satsang began because we were all going through a very difficult second wave of COVID, and we needed to support each other and remind each other of Swami's presence in our lives. And it's almost like the whole experience has come a full circle because many of our members are right now not keeping well and they have COVID. I'm myself recovering from my third bout of COVID, but I'm much better. But many of our members are also facing COVID-19 right now, all the symptoms, and are testing positive. I ask you all in the spirit of the one family that we are to pray for everyone, not only our sisters and brothers in Vidyavahini, but Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu, because this ugly virus is raising its head again. And today's satsang is a very good chance for us to live up to this beautiful theme of humility, because Swami says that the best way to identify an educated person, there are two signs: culture and humility. Without humility, education is nothing but a worthless, pompous exercise. We all know of so many people who are highly successful and yet so pompous. And they make news on Twitter, and they may make news on social media for now, but the legacy of people who will live in the hearts of others even after they're gone are those who are humble. And my favorite example of that is Mother Ishwaramba. No formal education, no social media, no publicity, and yet the whole world, the globe, the Western world, the Eastern world, the Northern and Southern world, of every sphere of the globe celebrates the day she merged into her son, the Paripurna Avatar. So today, let us take this satsang as a reminder from Swami that whatever we do, we must do it A, with lots of love for his lotus feet, and B, with a sense of humility, knowing that this is a God-given opportunity to us and we are mere instruments in his hands. Thank you all, and let's please stay for the entire satsang, and congratulations to Team Karnataka for organizing it. Sai Ram.
Saira ma'am, thank you so much for putting across the context so beautifully. So, Vidya Dadati Vinayam. It comes from a Sanskrit sloka which goes like Vidyam Dadati Vinayam, Vinayad Yati Patratam, Patratvat Dhanamapnoti, Dhanat Dharmam Tatah Sukham. Now, the first impression that we might all get listening to a sloka like this is that we must have come across this many a times before in the past, and it is not something new that we are learning. When it comes to humility, we have always heard this phrase called Vinayam, and Swami himself has time and again kept repeating this phrase. And there is this famous quote which goes like, the hallmark of my students is humility. So the question then arises that what is it that is so interesting about this that we're having a discussion on this theme today? Well, the first thing that you can catch, maybe later on during the course of this session, we can get more insights from the other speakers who will be coming in. But before that, I would like to just highlight that when you go on word by word, it goes like Vidya Dadati Vinayam. So the first thing that happens is that Vidya should be able to inculcate Vinayam or humility. And then it's only when you have the humility with you that you can go to the next step, which is to acquire the wealth that comes by with that Vidya. Now, here it is very easy to again not get the context right. When we say Vidya, it is not your secular knowledge alone, but your holistic development that is such an important part in our lives. And then once you have that wealth, with that wealth of wisdom and knowledge is when you can ultimately get the sukham, the peace that we all pine for. So when you have this sloka made in a very systematic way, in stepwise order, well, this sloka that we are talking about dates back to ages back in our scriptures. For an interesting fact, how many of us are aware that the fact about the earth being round was not the first discovered by Galileo, but by our very own scriptures, which has been there inscribed as Bhugol. So, what we really need to get here right is that many of these things that go by mistaking as mere beliefs and faith, when we actually look into our own scriptures, they are very scientific in nature. They go stepwise in order. So once we have established this fact that it is a stepwise order, let us take a practical example for this. Imagine in the school, you have the teacher teaching the students. Now imagine for a moment one of the students starts speaking out loud, or rather with his colleague sitting next to him. Wouldn't that disrupt the decorum of the class? Likewise, here what we understand is that the silence is a prerequisite for the knowledge to pass on from the teacher and the student. So there is a stepwise order here. We have to have silence and concentration to what the teacher is listening or speaking about. So same way, when we understand that there is always some scientific basis for whatever is there in our scriptures, then we need to go a step further to understand that all of us need to get a point where we should have this ongoing. Many times we feel that education is a one time process, that it is only for a matter of 20-25 years, and after that, there is no need to learn anything. And then we have, of course, the family life and then the professional work that occupies us. But then, don't you think that education is something more? It is an ongoing process. So it is not a one time project, but it happens over time continuously. And each one of us are in this journey to learn more and more. And as I said, coming back to this verse, just like how silence is a prerequisite to get the process going when it comes to the transaction between the teacher and the students, same way we have what is called Vinayam, or the humility to learn, to absorb whatever is happening around us, which is also a prerequisite for us to attain the knowledge. And here you might wonder, like, well, for 20-25 years, we have the teachers with us, the professors who will be rendering their services as teachers and teaching us. But then what about our life? Who is teaching us after we pass on from our schools and colleges? Well, it is the life by itself. Life is a great teacher. And here we are talking about Vinayam and how important it is for us to absorb the knowledge that goes on an ongoing process. Now, before I keep the ball rolling and invite the other speakers, I would also like to put these thoughts in front of you about how Swami, if you would have noticed very closely, was never asking the students in his institutions to go for becoming the best doctors or the best lawyers or the best professionals in the industry. But what he always would highlight his students to do is to be able instruments of society, to serve society in the manner in which he expected us to. So when we have a correlation between this, we realize that while you get all your industry experience out there for doing your professional work, be it being a doctor or a lawyer, but then the industry experience that you get in order to attain the paravidya, or a higher knowledge than not just the secular one, for that, what you have to do is to also have this sense of humility and service, because wherever you see, Swami would always highlight the fact of service. No matter how much ever we listen to the discourses, at the end there will always be a connection to serving society, and especially the students would always be told to serve society. So when we have the forthcoming speakers who will be talking more about this topic, well, more than that, they will be sharing their experiences with all of us. And Mind you, they are the industry experts of rendering selfless service. Because how often do you get people who offer service without the need of money? Many of them would need something, some uh, perk here and there, but then to offer yourself to work for the benefit of others without expecting anything back in return is also a practical experience in this sense. So, hoping that I've kept the ball rolling with respect to what is going to come in front of us, I would now request the speakers to take things forward. So we have a total of around 9 speakers who will be sharing their experiences with us, and they are from across various teams. And also we have the supported teachers, the school supported school teachers who will also be sharing their experiences and thoughts on this theme. So without further ado, let me invite Brother Venkatesh, who's the state coordinator, to share his thoughts with us. Sairam.
Thank you, Brother Akshay. You have highlighted the theme very well. Thank you, Karuna ma'am, for enlightening us. On this occasion, I would like to remember my own experience, how true values or education has transformed my life, actually. Way back to 2003, I was in maybe 7th or 8th standard. Everybody around me, even family, relatives, cousins, everybody telling, I can't tolerate this boy. That much of irritation I am giving for them. So not sitting in one place, whenever they will not involve me in the game, I will throw that game material away. That much irritation I will give. One day, simply I'm roaming around the street. I heard some devotees are singing the bhajans in temple. So that bhajan has attracted me. Through that, I was visiting the temple every week. Every Thursday, that bhajan was going on. Every week, I was attending. So this was later I came to know that it is a Sri Satya Sai Seva Samiti. And one day, one fine day, what happened? It happened for continuous 3 years, 4 years. After finishing my 10th examination, I did very well in that examination. We moved to some other place. That bhajan touch has been cut in between. So in 2009, by through some youth, I have heard that Swami has invited youngsters from Karnataka to chant Vedam in front of Swami. So we are very much excited, and we went to Vedam practice. Till then, no, we didn't spoke a single Sanskrit word. So very tongue twisting for us. So also we are eating non-vegetarians at that time. So while practicing the session, the priest who is practicing or who is teaching us, he came to me and said that, I know you are a non-vegetarian lover, but the Swami said that to become my devotee, you have to leave three major things. That is, one is alcohol, smoking, and non-vegetarian. So at least for Shivratri, on the Shivratri day, we were able to, we want to chant the Vedam in front of Swami. Till Shivratri, don't eat this thing. So I said, okay, I will not eat for that. And we chanted Vedam in front of Swami. And then we came back. After next year Shivratri, Swami said again, so those who will chant without book, some message we got, without book, those who will chant Vedam, we will get opportunity to chant in front of Swami. Again, I will left non-vegetarian, and it will go on for 2-3 years. So till now we didn't get a chant in front of Swami. Then this opportunity make my life better. So I was practicing Vedam every day. I was chanting. So by this bhajan and non-vegetarian, completely I left non-vegetarian. So by this, I was observing there is a change in my behavior, and slowly the patience level is increasing. So now our family, friends, relatives, everybody is saying that, oh, we have to become, we have want a boy like you, like that they are telling. And one of my cousin was telling, I heard that the mankind is transformed from monkeys, but I have seen you, you have transformed from monkey to man. So by this note, I will conclude my talk, and I will hand it over to Akshay brother to share his experience on Vidya Labate Vinayam. Sairam brother.
Saram, brother, thank you for your thoughts. I think it was again very insightful because one of the things that I could capture from what you said is that it is more important to absorb what uh, you are doing to society rather than what the society does to you. What immediately comes to our minds is that, well, I have done this much of service, now I need something back in return. But no, it is always something that in terms of what we can provide. So thank you for that wonderful insight. So as I have already uh, spoken so much about this topic, I would like to just continue with my chain of thoughts and take this discussion forward. So as I was saying, that many of the things that we talk about, be it humility, service, the Sanskrit sloka that you just saw, these keep coming time and again in our lives, feeling that the utility has come down, that we don't seem to be absorbing enough out of these messages that come by. And that's the reason why I've often noticed Swami also doing the same. He'll keep repeating a lot of uh, you know thoughts that seem to be very mundane for us. Like if you speak to any Sai devotee, they will, the first thing that comes to their minds when it comes to Swami's messages is love all, serve all. And each and every discourse has this element of loving others and serving others as an integral part in whatever he says, because wherever he takes you with his thoughts, he will come down again to telling that yes, you have to be useful to society, you must serve others, because that's how you get the practical experience. So when one of these messages in context of Vinayam came to me, the reference point for me was these two messages of Swami, which is uh, the hallmark of a science student is humility, and the other one which goes like the end of education is character. Now, initially, like for somebody who has not heard this thought for the first time before, they might want to they might have a doubt thinking, what does this even mean? End of education is character. Why is character so important? Why can't he say that end of education is maybe become the best person you are to in order to serve the society, or something that is too much to comprehend? Why just this? Why character? Because it is a prerequisite, as I said, for us to develop the knowledge base that Swami wants us to imbibe. And like this, if we see, there is almost every other opportunity that comes in our lives, because life, as I said, is the best teacher. And what you gain out of life is immeasurable. What you need to do is to open up your minds instead of just uh, coming down, saying that, yes, I know this, and then just leave it at that. What we need to do is open up, because I don't know whether you're able to hear this, but I have a kitten back here at my home, and it keeps meowing all the time. and very soon you might even be bothered by it. But then one very striking thing about this kitten is that it is very observant by nature, and it knows what it wants. Like, unlike most of us who just aren't even sure what is going to happen next, this kitten right here, it knows when it wants to eat the food and when it wants to play. And immediately after eating, it starts exerting itself, and it's a very active kitten right here. So maybe some of you who have the pets at your home might be able to relate to it. It is, it's like basic instinct that it follows, and it knows what it needs at most of the times. So also I've noticed that the kitten, uh, it might be very cute in nature, but then if it isn't cute by chance, it might not be getting the attention that it needs. So these are observations in life that we need to keep seeing here and there and learn from, even as small as a kitten or maybe something more. So there is this idea about creation. So the other thought that I had was, when it comes to uh, the story of Einstein, maybe I don't know, many of you might have heard about it. There was this uh, colleague of his who was also a scientist himself, and he had, as most scientists do, lot of uh, pride in the knowledge that he had acquired. So once Einstein just invited him, and yes, and there was one more caveat about him, that he was an atheist and he never believed in God. So he had once invited this person uh, to his chamber, and he said that there is this colossal project that he's working on, and he would like him to see. And of course, the colleague of his was very much intrigued, and he wanted to see what Einstein was up to. And Einstein took him to that chamber where that model was built. When he looked at it, it was a recreation of the creation itself. So immediately the scientist was interested to know who the creator was. But Einstein, as brilliant as he is, he simply shunned that thought aside, and said, "Arey, that is simply nothing. It just came out on its own without anybody's intervention." So the scientist understood that he is joking. But then Einstein had another very important remark to make after that. He said that if suppose you can imagine that the whole creation by itself has come without anyone's hand, how could you then come to a conclusion that a small model like this could also just come by without somebody being present? So here again we get to know that being narrow and shunning aside possibilities could be detrimental to our own uh, understanding. So maybe I must have taken a lot of time. Now we will proceed ahead with the next line of speakers who will be sharing their experiences with us. So first up, we have the subject coordinator, Shri Prabha Acharya ma'am, who will share her experiences. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, I think your uh, microphone is on mute.
Sorry. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our God, Shri Satya Sai Baba. Vidya Dadate Vinayam. Shri Satya Sai Vidya Vahini has given me the opportunities to grow spiritually. The more Shri Satya Sai Vidya Vahini work I do, the more I feel closer to Swami. SSSVV has brought the positive changes in me. I have worked with Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini as PYF mentor, as a teacher trainer, in the multimedia team in various capacities, and now with Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini Inclusive Education team. As a Karnataka mathematics mentor, the enthusiasm of the teachers is contagious. The reflections of happiness from my colleagues, communications with the teachers, and the understanding with which the teachers interact with the students infuses love and the passion towards Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini. Working with Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini has taught and made me realize that everything happens with His will. In an answer to a devotee, Swami said, and I quote, "Where will I go? I will be always with you. I may not be visible, but I will always be with my devotees." Unquote. I could feel with each step of my life, Swami is the one navigating my life. The humbleness and humility Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini Seva has taught me. Vidya means knowledge and Vahini means army. This Vidya Vahini of Sri Sathya Sai has given me the ultimate bliss. I wish to continue in Sri Sathya Sai Vidya Vahini with the blessings and grace of Swami in any way He wants to work through me. My motto, as Swami says, do all my work as God's work. Thank you. Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts with all of us here. We also have Brother Satyanarayan. He's also been a very active member in the Karnataka team, and I would like him to share a few thoughts of his. Over to you.
Thank you.
Brother.
Thank you, Prabha. Offering my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Sri Sathya Sai Baba. So my journey with Vidya Vahini started as it's kind of accidental or magical, whatever it be. So the moment I heard about Vidya Vahini program when Swami inaugurated, I was thinking it's like, okay, another regular project what Swami runs. So it's a kind of maybe a small training to teachers, or it could be something providing some material to the school, something like that of that sort that had in my mind. And then when I got a first call from Indiranagar Samiti in Bangalore saying that we are meeting for, preparation work for Vidya Vahini, I was thinking, okay, I'm a graduate and postgraduate. And then I used to teach some children in the weekends who are hearing challenged and speech challenged. So I was thinking, okay, I'm also a teacher and I can do anything. It's all about just converting textbook to the PPT and Word, and yeah, I can do. So I said that I can enroll and I can do. It's a matter of 1 hour or something like that. So because whatever we have learned in our regular curriculum, it's all bookish knowledge and materialistic knowledge. But once you have to be into the Swami's fold, right, it is beyond these things. It's about Atma Gnana learning. That should be the divine learning. It should be transformed. So I was thinking with that, okay, I'm a MTech postgraduate. I can convert the lesson into a PPT or Word within a half an hour or 1 hour. It's an easy job. So with that ahankara and ajnanam, I entered into the first meeting. Okay, still it was okay. 30% was, my assumption was removed. And then when we meet in Puttaparthi, where 2 days workshop was their first Vidya Vahini workshop, the amount of hard work and the scope and the vision, when I saw that one, then I realized that, okay, whatever we have, that is because of thinking that bookish knowledge, and we think that we know everything and we are nothing, So the kind of first word when I heard, it's a 7 jewels. 7 jewels of, it's not just like a bookish thing, but you have to prepare like an art. You have to prepare for a the actors who dress like a drama. So the teacher has to be empowered with this much. So then I thought, okay, things what we think about Swami and what Swami's project vision is beyond our limit. And then I thought it's not that we are contributing to Swami's project. Actually, we are the students of, Swami's University of Love. And many people say, you people are all doing Swami's service without, getting any money or anything benefit. So it's not like we are doing the volunteering. Actually, we are the students of Swami University Love, and then we are getting transformed. And Swami is actually teaching us many things through his work. And as we are keep doing his work, many of our assumptions, agnanam, is being removed out. So in the last 10 plus years of my Vidyavani journey, when I started with a coordinator, I contributed as a author, and then IT worker. Sometimes I have to run between to take the lesson plan also with whatever knowledge I have. And then I transformed into more coordinator, state coordinator level. So with all this journey, yeah, it's not that I have contributed anything to Swami's work. It's only a minuscule of the work, but what I gained, what Swami is actually imparting, I mean, it's like a hard rock which is useless, but Swami is carving out of that some beautiful character and samskarams. So that is what nothing but the today's topic, right? Vidya Dadati Vinayam. So when we are doing Swami's work, it's nothing but it's not we are doing it. Swami using us as an instrument, and parallelly he is imparting a lot of samskara to us to cross this janma, and then very useful instruments in the society. So that was the great opportunity Swami is giving us. We should never think that we are working for Swami. In fact, the Swami is giving us, and Swami is taking all the efforts to transform us. See, in the same, if you go to outside, right, there are so many people, we are also moving along there. But you observe, Swami devotee or Swami student will really stand out. Even in the difficulty time of COVID, how our people have responded. And especially Vidyavani team, when everyone was busy, during this COVID time, we have created so many PPTs, assets, and being uploaded to Diksha portal. Just think, there was a tough situation which was happening in this 2021 and started with 19. But Swami has prepared some program 10 years ahead. And when there is a situation where entire world is going to trouble time, and especially teachers are much more troubled, because they said you have to suddenly shift to a digital world. Can you imagine people who never worked on PPT, suddenly they have to create PPT, they have to make animations, and they have to teach to the children? It is not possible. But Swami has prepared everything ready for this calamity. So in the time of COVID, when everyone is facing tough time, and especially teachers are facing tough time, Vidyavani has helped a lot to the teachers as well as the children. And it is completely free, and it is done with love throughout the globe. And I am happy that I'm one of the smallest minuscule in that program, and I'm continuously learning. So if you don't have that vinayam or humility, humble, your agnanam will take over you, and then you will be, you will become like a normal sheep. If you observe a head of sheep, and usually the person will be in front, because he has to lead the sheep. Otherwise, the head of the sheep will go in different ways. Suppose if it is a cows, usually the person will be the behind, because the cows will not behave like a sheep. So they have that samskara, and they go in a line, and they go in a sideway. If you leave the sheep the same position, and if the controller is at the back, the sheep will go away. So the differentiator is the vinayam, and that is what we should have. And I feel in this 10 years, more than 10 years of journey, I am the student, and then Swami is taking hard work to change this, as like brother is saying that transforming from monkey to man, man to monkey again. So to remove all those qualities and becoming a good Sai devotee or Sai student, this is the Vidyavani program is helping me. In this journey, I have met so many teachers, so many children, very far, like Chokkadi, Bhadravati, Shimoga, and even in Kerala, Chennai. So I used to travel with the team, right? Whenever we go for training and all, you could see that Swami's hand there. I mean, those children never visited Parthi also, some of them, but the Vinayam, what they had because of being Swami's student, right? So we can easily felt that. So being in this program, I could understand and I could feel and I could observe some of them. That was my journey. And thanks for giving this opportunity. And today, it feels very great that out of 9 speakers, I am the one. So this is how Swami chooses. He chooses his instruments and he takes care of his instruments very well. Keep have faith in Swami. Swami will take care of us even in this COVID situation or any other difficult situations. So Swami is always there for us. He is with us and around us. Jai Sai Ram.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving us the practical experience, the industry experience in the field of service that you had, wherein you have a feeling of not doership, but that there is Swami who is doing everything for you. So thank you for sharing that. Next up, we have with us the supported school teachers. So we have Malashri Nair ma'am, who will be speaking first with us today, and then it will be followed by Gunashekar sir and Vinay sir in the order mentioned. So I would request first to Malashri ma'am to take over. Over to you, ma'am.
Sairam, my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Swami Shri Satya Sai Baba. There is a famous saying that if you take one step towards God, the Almighty will come 10 steps and He'll bless you in your work, whatever you do. So it is proving in my life when I entered here. So I'm Malashri and I'm a teacher in Shri Satya Sai Vidya Mandir Dharwad, Saptapur. So my day start with the tiny tots and the chirping students who in the morning enhance me saying, Sairam ma'am, how are you ma'am? So these questions and the pretty faces and the smiling faces gives me the energy to be very energetic for the whole day. When it comes to the education, there's another famous verse which says that you can fill a person's life with either with wealth, food, clothing, but it is not complete unless you give them vidya. So vidya is a one most important thing. Without that, no one grows and nothing can be achieved. So here in the 7 assets, the most favorite of mine is value corner, wherein the human values are being taught. So during my June month teaching, I have told the importance of animals and how we need to be caring and especially about the human touch for the animals. So many students, after seeing the photos and after learning that even they have the life and they are living being like us only, they started behaving very polite way to the animals, like they stop the pelting stones and every day they come and tell me, ma'am, we did this. So it is really giving me the immense pleasure in my work, and that I'm very much feeling satisfied, and I'm very much thankful to the mentors and the Vidyamayini whole team. So I will to touch the young minds and hearts. So I pray Baba to lead me and my children and show us the path wherein we have to reach the goal. Thank you everyone. Sairam.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I request Gunashekar sir to speak a few words.
Sairam, I am the headmaster of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Vidya Kendra, Chokkadi. I had a very great opportunity of studying in Swami's College way back in 1988 till 1991 in Vrindavan. I did my BSc there. So later on, I came back home, doing my farming work, assisting my father, and later on entered the school as a HM, and now I am serving the students. Here, today's theme, Vidya Dadati Vinayam. I am reminded of a very great incident which happened in our student life. There was a student called, very senior student, called Rupak Sharma. He was a batchmate of a great singer, Lakshmi Narayan Kote. Everybody knows Swami used to sing Sai Bhajan Bina Sukh Shanti Nahi, Bhajan, at the end of the discourse. So, for the first time, Rupak Sharma was the person who sang this bhajan in front of Bhagavan. So, Swami liked that bhajan very much. And Swami ordered Rupak Sharma to sing these bhajans wherever Swami went, even Vrindavan, Bharti, or wherever. Swami liked that bhajan so nicely, so very well. And after several times of singing that bhajan, one of the Dasaras, Swami himself sang that bhajan. And Rupak Sharma was in bliss because it was his contribution, his bhajan. He sang it for the first time in front of Swami. And Swami himself picked up that bhajan and sang that at the end of his discourse. And he was so thrilled. And this happened in Purnachandra. When the discourse, bhajan, the function was over, he ran back to the mandir. And he was so joyful in receiving Swami from Purnachandra auditorium back to mandir. Swami immediately called him into the interview room. And what happened inside demonstrates what is humility. Swami was asking, it seems, Rupak Sharma, how did I sing? How was it? How was my bhajan? What to say? Rupak Sharma did not utter a single word. He simply prostrated before Bhagavan. And after getting up, Swami is telling these words, thank you. Swami himself thanking Rupak Sharma for giving such a bhajan. This is the nadir of humility demonstrated by Bhagavan himself. And in another instance, when I was a student, Swami used to call so many people for the interview. And while calling for the interview, he used to stand outside the interview room so that all the interviewees got inside the room, just like he was waving everybody inside. Please go, please go, please go. And at the end of the interview, he himself was the first person to get outside the room and ask everybody to come out of the room. This was demonstrated by Swami himself. And that is the highest form of humility we can see in Swami. And I am reminded these words of Swami, hear all and say nothing, do all and be nothing. And this is the highest form of humility one can have or exhibit. And so much of service activities are going on around the globe, but the face of the devotee is not seen. This is the humility Swami has taught. Only the work is being done, but by whom? There is nobody and everybody. Nobody is everybody. And while teaching to the children, I am teaching these four values: Nitya, Shuddha, Mukta, and Mugdha. It is in Kannada. To translate this, Nitya is ever continuously flowing. Shuddha is pure. Mukta is open. There is no secret. Mugdha is innocent. These four qualities are of Swami. It is ever affluent, it is pure, without any blemishes, and it is open, no secrets at all, and it is completely innocent. By saying this, let us all pray Swami to guide us and help us in serving the society till our last breath. Sai Ram.
Thank you, sir. Moving ahead, we have Vinay brother who will be sharing his thoughts with us. Over to you, brother.
Om Shri Sai Ram. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. It gives me immense pleasure for the opportunity provided to speak a little of my experience while serving Sai Mata. When I started my career in our Satya Sai school, it was in 2008. I was very short-tempered, like used to beat the children, and I thought that covering the curriculum is the it makes me the successful teacher. But when in 2010 Vidyavahini team visited our school and explained everything regarding 7 assets, then it came to my mind that it's not covering the curriculum, it's uncovering the curriculum. So then the journey of humility started from there. So whenever I start teaching my children at the classroom, every day, every class, they will get a different kind of sort of lessons with the help of this Vidyavahini. Vidyavahini helped me to shape the children in a most appropriate manner. So shaping the children to build their a character is the crucial role, plays a crucial role in the life of the children. So whenever I teach them using 7 assets, I really feel and miss my school days, that why my teacher did not teach me all these things. So now whenever I go to the class, I really feel that I am also the student who is in the learning process to build my character. So as the sayings of Bhagavan Sri Satya Sai Baba, character building, end of education is character. So it suits the learning process very much, I think. So the 7 assets, we used to use it, but when we came to the Bangalore course about Vidyavahini, then it really touched, and we are using the LMS app also for building the bright future of the children. It gives us immense pleasure to teach them. After that, it's not only the curriculum part, there are some other parts also in the Satya Sai educare system. Like children used to visit the hospitals, and they started sharing and caring with the government school children. Whenever they go and visit the government school, each and every child has a different shade of smile in him. So he has achieved something. So we use the children's fees to share notebooks and pens to the children in the government school. So whenever children start sharing their belongings, a sort of different shade comes in their mind, and when they enter the school, they feel really humbled. Their humility starts starts counting. So in each and every aspect in the school life, it's the duty of the teacher to shape the children in a most appropriate way, that every children builds the humility and the education learning process on the mainstream. So whenever the children starts using the conversation in a most humbled way, whenever the children say Sai Ram, the folded ads comes up automatically. So there the humbleness starts from there itself. Wherever you go, whenever you hear Sai Ram, folded hands comes up. So the journey of the humility starts from there itself. So Satya Sai Baba started explaining us not by by action itself. So by action we used to build everything which is required for the children's life. So um, we used to visit hospital service, like whenever we go to the hospital service, a children who is orphan, a child who is orphan, she started crying in front of me and said that they are in a most bad situation in their life. And I thought that being orphan, I has the worst case in the human life. But after seeing the patients who has no one to take care, it realized me like I am on the next level of them. So these things, when they go into the community service, students start behaving in a different shade. So all these experience throughout the journey of my teaching career helped me to know that, to realize that humility is the utmost instrument for the learning process. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. Uh, Before we move on to the PYF team, we also have Rajeshwari Imam, who will share her thoughts with us. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Sairam to everyone. I am Rajeshwari Dudmani from Dharwad. So I'm new to Sai family. Then also I have many experiences. From last August, I have joined the Sai family. So I have many experiences. So just few experiences I want to share with you all about Vidya Vahini and about the students and all. So I feel myself very proud that I'm serving in Sai family. Like here, whatever the problems we have, they will be solved very soon. Whatever the things we want, we get it. Family is given more important in the school. We do our work peacefully here. Children in the school, they are like very cultured. Sometimes from them, we learn many things like Vedas, singing bhajans, shlokas and all. Many things we can learn from them. They are very much connected to the spiritually. They are very much connected. I'm very happy that I feel proud also myself. I'm a teacher in Sai school. Here the work is very easy. Just we have to think in a smart way. For teaching, we are using here Vidya Vahini. It is like a ready-made food for all the teachers. Our work is very easy, becomes easy with this app like Vidya Vahini. So here we have to serve that knowledge to the children with love and care. That is our duty. So I feel very honored to serve in Sai family. These words are less only to speak about Sai family. Then also few experiences I share with you all. Thanks to listening me. Thanks for giving opportunity to speak on this day. Thank you one and all. Sai Ram.
Sairam, ma'am, thank you for your words. Next up, we have the PYF mentors team. The first one who would share their experiences with us today would be Mukundan sir, followed by Mala Bhaskar brother, and then Tejaswini ma'am. Over to you, sir.
Om Shri Sai Ram. Pranams at the divine lotus feet of Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba. Sai Ram to everyone. Vidya Dadati Vinayam. What is the meaning for each word? Let us see. Vidya means knowledge. Dadati means to give. Vinayam means humbleness or mannerism. In simple, it is knowledge brings happiness. Avayar, a Tamil poetess, in one of her quotes said, Katrathu kaiman nalavu, kallaladu ulahalavu, which means what is learned by us is only a handful, whereas the unknown is the size of the world. With Bhagavan's grace, during my service, I had the opportunity to join in the Brindavan Bhajan group as a singer and was also in Sevadal. Shri Satsang Vidya Vahini was inaugurated by Swami in 2010. SSVV is a practical framework to implement integral education, a holistic education by providing teachers with content, training, and teaching aids. This is called as IIEP 4C. How I wish we had this kind of IIEP 4C integral education when I was a student. I used to get immense satisfaction and enjoyment when I used to go to various Satyasai schools in 2016 when I joined as a member in the training team, visited various schools in Karnataka, Mysore, Tumkur, Shimoga, Bagalkot, etc. The immense satisfaction and enjoyment when these activities were discussed and planned, role plays were carried out, the interest and the enthusiasm shown by teachers, it was exemplary, and I really salute them. Moving on, in 2019, I moved from training team to PYF as state coordinator for Karnataka. PYF is Phone Your Friend, and this is also a part of Vidya Vahini. This program gives golden opportunity for the teachers to improve their English language skills in listening, speaking, reading, and writing. At present in Karnataka, we are covering 5 schools. There are 85 mentors and 113 teachers are benefited. 89 teachers have completed various levels, and the number of levels in PYF is 5. All our mentors are engineers, doctors, teachers, IT professionals, and they are highly qualified, and many of them are working in very high posts in leading organizations in India and abroad. Talking to these mentors on various occasions used to give me boost and encouragement, as they were all committed to their schedule. It was really wonderful. Whenever they faced little problem with mentees, as the mentees might not stick on to their time schedule as committed by them, I used to discuss with mentors and solve the issues which would derive satisfaction and more on further. It's a humbling experience to see people from various fields wanting to contribute to the society, wanting to help students from various segments of society, when I used to have contacts with principals, teachers, mentors, etc. With Bhagavan's grace and the commitment from our mentors and the response that is being shared upon by all the principals of various schools, we are planning to take up this PYF for many schools in Karnataka in the years to come. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram sir, thank you. Next up, we have Mala Bhaskar ma'am, who will share her thoughts with us. Over to you, ma'am. I think the video is not on. All right then, so we will listen to the final speaker for today, Tejasvi ma'am, until Mala ma'am comes back. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. My humble pranams at the lotus feet of our dearest Lord, Bhagavan Shri Satyasai Baba. Myself, Tejaswini from Siddhapur. Today, I would like to speak about the topic, Vidya Dadati Vinayam. This is beautifully explained in Subhashita. Vidya Dadati Vinayam, Vinaya Dadati Patratam, Patratvat Dhanam Apnoti, Dhanat Dharmam Tatasukam. Which means Vidya, that is true education, gives humility in man. The humility gives worthiness. From worthiness, one can get wealth, and from wealth, one can do good deeds, which ultimately gives happiness and joy. I would like to illustrate one example with this. So we all know Rama Bhakta Hanuman is the brightest example for humbleness and humility. When he first presented himself before Rama and offered his services, Rama turned to Lakshmana and said, "Brother, notice how Hanuman has mastered the Vedas." This speech is filled with humility and dedication, his reverence, and intuitive vision, all promoted by different Vedas. Hanuman is the genuine humble devotee who knew all the scriptures, but his humility and surrender to Rama made him succeed in finding Mother Sita. Hanuman is totally humility offered his thoughts, words, and deeds to Lord Rama. Thus, he can won God's grace and love. As Swami says, education is not meant for filling the empty sacks and pouring out its content and making the sack empty again. It is not head to be filled with education, but heart that's to be filled with love and humility by cleaning and expanding. So, humility is the hallmark of education. I pray Bhagwan to bless us with this noble quality of humility and win his love and grace. Thank you. Jai Sai Ram.
Sarah ma'am, thank you for sharing. I'm told that Bala ma'am is not available right now for this session. So, okay, yes ma'am, you're there. Okay.
I'm sorry, power got switched off. I just got connected again.
Okay, ma'am, no issues. Please share your thoughts with all of us today.
I'm sorry. Saira, humble pranams to Swami. Saira to everyone. Thank you, Swami, for the opportunity to share my experiences on the topic Vidya Dadati Vinayam. Acquiring knowledge leads to or generates humility. Real knowledge is not obtaining degrees and taking up corporate jobs alone. Learning is a continuous process. I heard about this wonderful opportunity in Vidyavahini and joined 5 years back. I thank you so much, Swami, for this service to be with the school teachers and Balavigas Gurus. I'd like to share a few experiences with the mentees here in this regard. I was reasonably well in English communication, so I took up this PYF service. To be honest, this knowledge and language gave me somewhere inflated prideness until this bubble was pricked by Swami. One of my mentee is a Balavigas Guru. She has studied in Kannada medium till graduation. She could hardly understand simple words, sentences in English when we started 5 months back. The more I conversed with her, I'm amazed at her in-depth knowledge on Kannada language, Vedam, bhajans, and her open-mindedness to learn a new language. I understand she is translating Swami's discourse from Telugu to Kannada. She is living in a joint family and her hobby is rearing sheep. She has picked up English speaking and writing very well at a fast pace. She is always regular for her classes. In this process, I like to admit that I've learned a lot from her. She thinks that I'm her guru, whereas I feel she's my real guru. As she's very sincere, humble, compassionate, knowledgeable, and last but not least, she is serving as a Balavigas Guru. Similarly, I met few other teachers who are very knowledgeable and humble, and I've learned a lot from them also. At this point of awareness, I realized humility is everything, and whatever knowledge we acquire remains uncrowned without humility. In fact, the real knowledge leads to humility. If education and success does not make you humble, they're not worth it. So I pray to Swami to continue to bless me to be part of this wonderful Vidyavakni team forever. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So with this, we come to the final segment of today's theme, which is concluding the session. Before that, I would like to take this opportunity to thank all the speakers who could make it for the session today and sharing their life lessons and experiences. And also not to forget the patient audience who have been silently absorbing all the insights that you could gather in the last 15 minutes or so. So to conclude, I think what better way to acknowledge this fact that it is Swami himself who is guiding us throughout and giving us this chance to uh, render service. So let us pray to him for giving us the inspiration and that patrata or the eligibility to carry on with his noble work. May he help us to develop this feeling of servitude by performing our daily course with utmost selflessness and with a sense of gratitude in our hearts. Also, finally, before we conclude, I would request Miss Vachana to conclude with Mangalarti. Thank you, Sairam. ओम जय जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक पति महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे शशिवदना श्रीकरा सर्वा प्राणपते स्वामी सर्वा प्राणपते आश्रित कल्पलतिका आश्रित कल्पलतिका आपद बांधवा ओम जय जगदीश हरे मात पिता गुरुदैव मरियंतयु नीवे स्वामी मरियंतयु नीवे नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नाद ब्रह्म जगन्नाथा नागेन्द्राशयना ओम जय जगदीश हरे ओंकार रूपा उजसी ओ साई महादेवा सत्य साई महादेवा मंगल आरती अंधुक मंगल आरती अंधुक मंदर गिरिधारी ओम जय जगदीश हरे नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण नारायण ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम सत्यनारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण 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 ओम नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम सत्य नारायण नारायण ओम जय सद्गुरुदेवा ओम शांति 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 समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्त लोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ओम शांति 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 जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।